London Reels. Way better idea. Sponsored by Xbrain. What's the first thing you do when you get into work in the morning? Check your email, right? Wrong. I took a tip from Tim Ferriss, former guest on London Reel, and I'm now following the information diet. You see, when someone sends you a message on Facebook, email, or even Twitter, it's their agenda for your time. And what you need to focus on is your agenda. So I stay off the email and the messaging systems until 12 noon every day. And instead, I write that proposal that I need to, I make that phone call, or worst case, I compose an email, but I do it offline. That way, you can get the most done with your day and not just continually be reactive to those who are demanding your time. That's today's Way Better Idea, brought to you by the folks at Xbrain. If you want to check out their Way Better protein powder, it's grass-fed, it's free range. You can get 15% off with the customer code LondonReal. Click on the link below or go to xbrain.co.uk. Peace!
I learned a lot from, and sorry for carrying on a bit more, but from doing the Ray Mancini story.
Okay, right. Yeah, this is The Good Son.
The Good Son, because
Okay.
there's a perfect example of somebody that did everything right and it was taken away from doing his job too well. And for those of you that don't know about Ray Boom Mancini, I'm going to drop my movie here.
Go.
But Ray Boom Mancini was a monster lightweight fighter in the 80s, right? Sugar Ray Leonard announced his retirement. Ray was he was a super exciting fighter because he never stopped coming forward. He was on the front cover of Sports Illustrated right when lightweights were taking over the sport versus the heavyweights because they threw more punches, they were action-packed. He made a promise to his dad at 12 years old. Now, at 12, I was watching gummy bears and shit on TV. I was not making
Gummy
promises.
bears or Gumby?
No, gummy bears.
Gummy bears?
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
And gummy berry juice, it was a big thing.
Jeez.
I watched Transformers and shit, too.
Okay, that's right. We didn't get that.
Gummy
John.
bears
G.I.
was
Joe.
awesome.
Gummy bears are awesome. They used to fight the trolls and shit all the time.
They
get
drink
that in
some gummy bear
SoCal.
juice.
Yeah, and they get
like,
all strong and bounce, and they were always trying to steal the formula for gummy berry juice.
Yes.
I'm surprised they haven't done a feature
Now
of
I
that
feel
yet.
Brought
Any-
back. I hadn't thought of that in a long time.
Anyway, Ray, so he makes this promise at 12 because his dad was a title contender but got drafted into the Second World War, took shrapnel, tried to come back. He was never the same, got damaged his eye, and then so he was unjustly deserved the right for a title shot. So Ray at 12 used to go to the strand and say, Dad, I'm going to win the world title for you. And his dad's like, it's cute, son, it's cute. 12, like all through high school, everything, I'm going to be a pro fighter, I'm going to win a title for my dad. And we say, that's cute, kid. He does. At 21, he wins the title and he gives it to his dad. After 40 years, it's finally where it belongs, he says. Then in his third title defense, he fights this Korean fighter, Dooku Kim, who in the 14th round, he kills Dooku Kim from head. Well, Dooku, we put him into a coma. Dooku Kim got up, he got hit with this monster shot, gets up, collapses, goes into a coma, dies 3 or 4 days later. And he had a son named Ji-won, but his fiance was 3 months pregnant with a boy. So Ray got into boxing for righteous reasons, to win a world title for his dad and become a great fighter. And then he tragically takes the life of a father in doing so from an all-out war that was, but for the ending of that fight, it's amazing. They go at it. No one knew who Dooku Kim was, and he came to fight, and they went to war. And Ray takes the life of a father, and then the judge, or the referee, he commits suicide a year later. Not because of the fight, he had other issues, but another tragedy compounded. Dooku Kim's mother commits suicide because all this stuff gets exposed about her. She commits suicide. And then in the film, Ray meets the son and the fiance for the very first time after 30 years to finally put the story at rest. So you see in a story like Ray, like here's a 12-year-old that was focused to win a world title for his dad. Then he tragically takes the life of a father, this whole father and son connection, to have that all taken away. And all he did, wasn't scandalous with women, he wasn't boozing or doing drugs, didn't drink and drive. He did his job too well. He took the life of a fighter in the ring. And boxing was forever changed because of his fight. They no longer had 15-round fights
Went
after
to
Ray's
12.
fight.
Okay.
Went to 12.
Wow. Is that a solution?
No, it's actually because more damage is usually taken in the first rounds when you're fresh and you can hit harder, right? Like Ray actually he said that. But like everything, it's like politics. It was a reaction that boxing made right away to show everyone that we're like, oh, it's such a brutal sport that This was, and for Ray, it was different too, because there's been other people that have died in the ring, and it didn't carry as much as Ray, but Ray was the guy that everybody loved. He was the guy next door. He was this small town guy that fought for his town and for his dad, and then it felt like he like cheated on you, like, oh, there is a flaw in him. He was this golden boy. He was everything that was good about the sport, and within 6 months, he was the dark horse that nobody wanted to touch. Endorsements, deals dropped, and the boxing world turned its back on him.
Because of the death.
Because of the death. Because he'd, accidentally, and then still his kids went through stuff. I mean, and that is a great life lesson, that he did nothing wrong. He did his job too well. He came out and fought like a champion, like, went to this 14-round battle war with this other guy that was not willing to give up. And Dooku says, there's notes in his diary that this is my chance. I will die in the ring before I will let him beat me. I will knock out Mancini, because he knew this is his one shot. Like, Dooku was very unheard of. He was an Asian champion. Out of the graces of the WCB, he was a #1 contender, but no one in North America knew who he was, but he fought like a hero that day.
When's this coming out, this film? Or is
it's out right now in the U.S.
It is,
It's theatrical run. It's available on iTunes. It's not available in the U.K. right now. I was trying to get a meeting with Dog Wolf while I was here to see if they'd be interested in carrying it. Somebody else, because I know a lot of people in the U.K., a lot of people that follow them, like, oh, when's the Good Son coming out? When's the Good Son coming out? But, I mean, if that isn't a life lesson, that everything can be taken away like that from doing it right, like, that's why for me, I can't stand it when anyone that has success isn't super humble. It fucking drives me crazy when they have an attitude, because
let's go to LA.
I know, because you meet someone like Ray and he's the nicest man now, and like, I mean, he made my father-in-law, he made him cry when they met. Like, he's weird. He made a whole bunch of people cry, because he's just so, like, you just feel like you hug him and know he's so genuine and he's so appreciative, and he signs every autograph and everyone wants to take a picture. And I mean, when we did the screening in my hometown in Kelowna for The Good Son, all these like local people came, and there was a lot of really young girls that came, that they only came because it was the only thing going on, and they wanted to support my film. They didn't really know anything about boxing. They sure as hell didn't know who Ray was. And afterwards, their makeup's all run because they were crying. They're like, oh my God, that story, like, I can't believe in Ray's such a... Then they're all taking pictures, like, for the night, it was back to him being like, shit, like, everyone was there. Like, we need to get a picture with Ray. Even my wife was always kind of like, fuck your film, fucking this and that. She's so sick of me talking about my movies and shit. That is the coolest guy of all the guys. I love him. Like, she's like doing pictures, like punching pictures with Ray and everything. And he's just so... And Lauren's dad, he was a pro athlete too. He was in the Hall of Fame in the CFL.
Okay.
CFL, even know CFL.
Canadian Football League.
Yeah, now I know.
He was drafted by the Jets originally. Okay. And then actually in the time in the 70s, he made more playing Canada than he did to play in the NFL. It shows you how the NFL grew. But he started crying. He was like, he is a true champion for the man he is outside of the ring, not for what he accomplished in. He just, I'm being redundant, but great lesson to always be humble, because it can be...
Okay, I want to see it. So what, if there's a distributor listening in the UK, you should
it
contact
will
you?
Get to the UK. There's no way it can't. It's a great piece of work. Very proud that I got to be a part of it. Right now, I mean, the LA Times and Variety and everything, there was a few of them that wrote about giving it an Oscar buzz. It's done we've done all the things to submit. And it's 80% on Rotten Tomatoes right now for a documentary. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's
from
right.
like some of the biggest reviewers.
Big for
This week on London Real, former MI5 intelligence officer turned whistleblower, Annie Machon.
What we're looking at now is a de facto police state. All the laws are in place. They're just not being applied to most citizens yet. I think it's not a case of having anything to hide. It's having a case that I have a right to privacy, and I can't guarantee my government will uphold that right. Therefore, I need to take the steps to do it.
She talks NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden.
He would die for his country. He wants to try and improve the way his country operates within its own boundaries and protect its citizens. And we seem to forget and think that human rights are a luxury. They're not, they're fundamental, and privacy is one of them.
On Sunday, London Real presents Annie Machon, whistleblower.
So it's a very British mess, is the short answer.